Welcome to my May Plan with Me. Let's get started. Hi and welcome to another My Inner Creative Create With Me. Today we are going to create a plan with me for Cinco De Mayo. I may be saying that incorrectly. My apologies if I am. And I'm really excited to kind of explore what it is. I didn't really know much about it until I spoke to a friend of mine over in California who is Mexican, and I said, what is it about this holiday that is so special? And one of his comments was that it brings together the melting pot that is cultural intricacies and the interest that is all of these different cultures in one place, and I absolutely love that. So I wanted to kind of embody that in the spread that I was doing for this month. So let's get started. I've got a ton of really bright stuff, and for this particular one I am using my Archer and Olive Blackout notebook, which, as you know, I'm a huge Archer and Olive fan and I absolutely love using it. So this time I used jelly rolls, my Blackout book, and kept it pretty simple. Now you can download my cover page, which I've digitized, in the link below or on the Archer and Olive webpage. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started with our cover page. I'm going to pencil out what I'd like to add to the cover page so that I can color it in almost like a coloring in book. I'm going to use my gouache to be gouache to fill in the banner because I'd like to go over it again in black paint. I'm then using my jelly rolls to create the really bright colors that you see on the printable we've created. Birds, florals, and a whole bunch of really beautiful colors, and I think it really matches it perfectly. I'm then going over in black paint, as I said I would, to write down Cinco de Mayo. Onto our monthly spread. Here we're going to have a simple monthly calendar, and we're also going to have kind of a quotes page. I wanted to add the words celebrate because we're celebrating cultural diversity, which really gets me very excited. I found though that there's just an odd number of letters in the word celebrate, so after some trial and error decided on a very simple structure. I wanted to keep a theme of rainbow and bright colors throughout my month, so decided to kind of watercolor the jelly rolls together. So here you can see me filling in the 7 boxes of 7 days of the week, and I'm kind of overlapping the colors just a little bit. When I get to the end, I'm going to grab my paintbrush and I am going to go over with just a little bit of water to kind of blend the colors together and kind of give it a more flow and really lovely texture and feel to it. Now I'm going to add the lines of my calendar. I'm keeping it really simple, just with white, and I'm then going to start selecting some die cuts to be able to put at the top of my calendar to make it feel really festive and fun. The die cuts I'm using for this are very festive and come from the Rosie Studio range. Really loved using these because they really essentially embodied what I was expecting this kind of celebration to feel or look like. I'm now going to start on my quotes page. I wanted a really bright color and I wanted to add kind of a fun vibe to the lettering. So I'm adding these little angles to it just to give it this really fun and different vibe. I want to then go over it with yellow, where I'm kind of highlighting it and low lighting it to make sure that it's really visible on the page and kind of sticking with that bright color theme. To finish off my monthly theme, I've decided that I want to put a rainbow word, much like the top of the calendar, on the die cuts. So I'm going to rip out a page, rip out a page of my journal, and I'm going to write May in rainbow colors, kind of to match the top banner of my calendar. Once I'm done, I'm going to cut it out really carefully and I'm just going to stick it over the top. Top equipment tip of the day. I'm really in love with this Faber-Castell eraser. It only erases the graphite pencils and I absolutely love that it does that. Now I'm going over my calendar with the days of the week and obviously want to give a really fun doodle look to my Celebrate page. I'm going to add a sugar skull and a whole bunch of other beautiful bright doodles, and hopefully it looks really good when I'm done. For my weekly spread, I wanted to create a spread with some rainbow sugar skulls. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So using my circles, I created 6 circles for the days of the week. I go weekend, not Saturday and Sunday, so that's why there's 6 and not 7. And then I used smaller circles for the eyes, the cheeks, and then I used an oval shape for the mouth. I then went over this again and drew in the eyes. The nose was really easy. It was just an upside down heart, and then I traced out the shape of the skull. This kind of gave them a consistent look across the board, and then I knew I could go back and add the details of the sugar skull feel. In keeping with our bright rainbow theme for this month, I'm going to do a very similar technique I just did on the monthly planner. I'm going to add the colors in a rainbow fashion, and then I'm going to watercolor them together so that they kind of blend together and make it just a little bit prettier on my page. I'm now adding the details to my sugar skulls. I'm adding little florals, little spirals, little dots, and just things that make them look really fun. I've changed them up on each one of my skulls, so some skulls have got empty eyes, some skulls have got eyes filled in. I really enjoyed doing this spread, and hopefully you find it as easy as I did. We're very near the end, and now we're going to add our white lines so that we know where we're writing for the week, and keeping it really simple, just making sure that we've got all of those white lines ready to go. I didn't divide them up with a block between. I decided that I would do that on the next weekly spread. Now, top tip, I obviously made a mistake down the bottom here, and I'm just using my chisel black pen to go over it, and magically it just disappears. Perfect. Let's add the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and weekend. I noticed that the white wasn't very bright on the yellow and the orange, so I thought I would go over that once they would dry at a later stage. On to our last spread. This time I'm going to use the really fun bunting that you get during this kind of festive holiday of Cinco de Mayo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of measure out where I'd like my bunting to go, and then I'm going to create a variety of different shapes of bunting just by adding in squares, circles, triangles, and hearts. I decided to use my Faber-Castell pencils to do the colouring in of these parts. They are so vibrant that it was amazing to see how beautiful they looked on the black paper. And they were also a little bit thinner than my gel pens, and I could keep sharpening them to give them a really pointy point for me to colour in with. I really had fun filling these kind of colouring in shapes in, and while it was tricky and I kind of ran out of a couple of ideas, I thought it was really fun to do regardless. Great, now that we have almost finished all 6 of the days, we are now going to add the little white boxes down the bottom. This time I've left a space between each one of the boxes, which I thought would be more fun in the long term, just to do something different for my month. And I also decided that it would be a good idea to add a little notes section down the bottom. The only reason for that is because I love collecting notes during the week and making sure that I'm kind of doing the things that are really super duper important. So that brings us to the end of this particular plan with me. Hopefully you had as much fun with this as I did, and I look forward to seeing what it is that you've created with these ideas and inspiration. Please feel free to tag us so that we can share your work online. We would love to hear your tips and tricks for budgeting. Leave the comment below, or you can find us at myinnercreative.com. We look forward to seeing you next time.